Okay, so welcome to the newness of us, which is, I think, a very exciting, unusual topic for us to do. But I'll be interested to see how many of you on this call, I mean, you've answered the call for this call, so you're probably going to say yes to it. How many of you are experiencing a sense of newness in yourself? Just stick up your hand if you are. Yeah, yeah. Isn't that amazing, huh? Yeah. And I've worked with people over the past, well, 30 years, but of some people who've experienced that, all in different ways. By the way, there's no one, this is how this happens kind of thing. But some of them experience a period of not understanding it, feeling sort of lost, having epiphanies, and then something else, and then something else again. And it's like for me, where I would say 30 years ago, I kind of ceased being who I was originally and started to become something new. And it's been a 30-year journey, an adventure of discovery, because it wasn't like, oh, there, I'm something new. It's been, and now I'm this, and then I'm this, and then I'm this, and then oh, look, I'm morphing again. I'm becoming something else. So it's never been like a swap from one thing to another where I could definitively say that's who I am. And what I came to eventually was in the joy of not even caring who I was because it seemed less important than kind of who and what I was becoming and what we were becoming all together, which I think was kind of exciting. So now I'm just in ever morphing possibility of life, you could say. That's how I feel at the moment about it. I would say my husband Centauri, who's on the call, would feel about the same. It's something like that anyway. So he's nodding. And I think there are many ways into and through this. So I'd be interested to see how many of you have had one or multiple epiphanies throughout your life. Epiphanies seem to mark the newness in some way because they're like radical awakenings, radical openings to something new. And they're not always tragic. I mean, in some cases I've seen where that happens, but they tend to be quite incredible moments of like you touch something more. Is that what most of you would say? Would you say they're more like like they're moments where you touch something else that's not what the norm of life is, and that opens you up to a journey of like trying to discover, oh, what is that? Do you see what I mean? So they're quite exciting. I love having epiphanies. I actually search for them and seek them now as much as I can find, to because they're moments of profound growth and up-leveling and opening of doors to new possibilities. And I had a wonderful testimonial yesterday from Bobby, who's on the call, and she ended up by saying, "I'm powering up the possible," and I said, "Yes, I'm powering up the possible." That's if I've ended with anything, it's kind of that. Do you see what I mean? So, and I would say that also in the people I've talked to who experience this sense of ever knowingness, there are moments of feeling quite lost or empty. Have any of you experienced that?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like there's nobody home. And then suddenly, oh, you've you've become something else. So I've kind of learned to ride that easily. Oh, here we go again. Well, I'll watch TV for a while. Even if it's a couple of days. Like I've stopped judging it, assessing it, thinking it should look different or something like that. I've just kind of ride. It's part of the process of this kind of coming and goingness of us and uh, rapid up-leveling, evolutionary morphing that we're going through to whatever we're meant to become. But even, and I would say for me, that newness has come from, I'm not this. Okay, I could be this. Then I could be this. But there are others who would say, and I'll ask to see if any of you feel like this, they've always been who they are, but they're experiencing a newness of that self. Would any of you say you experience it that way? Do you know what I mean by that? No? Yeah, Bobby,
Well,
you do. Yeah. Um, it's kind of like you were born in as something extraordinary, someone, a being that was extraordinary with a deep, rich connection to whatever you want to call it, source, God, creator, like universe, life, whatever. And that seems to stay slightly consistent. Yeah, Bobby said, let me see what you said. So just a sec. So Bobby said, becoming more of myself, more to be revealed. Yeah, sometimes it's like totally new and sometimes it's like small adjustments. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So some of us kind of retain the sense of that essence of the beingness and the connection to the sourceness. Whereas for me, and I think for Centauri, you can say if this is true for you, it was a complete whoop, nope, not that anymore. Now I'm this, and then I'm ever morphing. And some of you may experience it like that. And there may be other variations of it as well. And when I've worked with people who've experienced that sense of lostness in it, for some of them have gone for up to 7 years when I encountered them. And the minute I said, "Oh, you're going through this," they'd go, "Of course, because I was in a temple in the Mayan jungles and this energy came to me and, and it started the whole thing." And I'd be like, "Uh-huh, yep, an epiphany, right, happens." And then because it's hard, it's been a hard thing for people to grasp, to grapple with. What? Am I not who I always was? Am I something new, different, more? What am I becoming? Why am I here? You ask those questions, any of you? Let me just see. Anybody asking those questions? Yeah. Yeah, you can see because it's not normal in the human sense to experience it quite like that. You're born, you live, that. But this is quite different. And if I was to say why I think this is different, I think in previous millennium, but you go back 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, whatever more years, they'd send one at a time to create big momentum, Buddha or whatever. And I think this time, whoever's got the planning hat on up there, if there is anybody, said, well, let's send a lot of them this time. Like, let's send a whole bunch of them, and they can all get together and they can get this work done together, as opposed to I'll just send one or we'll just take that person holds the weight of it. And I think so now I call us a murmuration of maestros, and I host a group where we do bigger work together to do that. So yeah, out of time all at once. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so when you know that's kind of what it is, what it's for, then you can relax into it in a different way. And for me, one of the ways of coming into that has been to kind of both let go of the human constructs of what life is supposed to look like, but also to evolve the human constructs of what life is supposed to look like. So, for example, in our murmuration of Maestro, said this on the last two calls. I'm just going to read some off my list of it. Some of the things we've done in the last 5 to 10 years together, we've redesigned intelligence. Like, so it includes all life forms and the universe. And now I say I don't think with my brain anymore. It's kind of like this. It's a different version of intelligence. Any of you experiencing that? Yeah, isn't that interesting? A bunch of us experience. So we've kind of evolved the way intelligence works. That's just one. And emotive power. So instead of emotive reaction, I really don't have reactions anymore. I have a kind of sense of, Oh, that's energy. It's got purpose. Let's use the energy for purpose and power. And it's changed the whole dynamics of emotion for me. It's like this is a smart body. It's given me a gift, and I'm going to use it as opposed to what's wrong with me? How should I look at my past? And do you see what I mean? So we've rejigged emotive power, which I think is fabulous. We've done consciousness innovation. So how do you innovate consciousness so that you come up with new concepts? We've looked at the energetic art of sourcing, which I did a couple of posts and videos on yesterday. When people talk about holding space, so you hold a safe space for someone, this is not, you source an exhilarated space. Those are just a few of the things we've been at work on in the Maestros group, evolving the human constructs of how it is to be a human on Earth. I'll just say one more, which is, first of all, the embodiment of our own, what we would call our own greater beings or greatness. And then that it morphed into the embodiment of sourceness or universeness or creatorness or whatever term you want to use for that. Have many of you been experiencing that in yourself? Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? See, even though some of you have never met me before, right? And yet we're still all experiencing something that's very synergistic across the world into different countries. Isn't that fascinating? And I find in the last year, maybe year and a half, there's a curiosity for newness now. Like where before maybe people would say, "Oh, she's weird," like she's into all that energy and consciousness stuff. Now they're like, "Oh, what's that? Like, how does that work?" And there's a curiosity for it generally, I think, in the population that wasn't so much there before. I think there's still more to go, but it's quite exciting actually. So yeah, yeah. So yeah. So exciting, isn't it? So the next thing would be like, why are we here? What's it for? Well, I think we've come to remake the world into something incredible. And my own view of what's happening right now is that everything's coming apart. Everything that was is falling apart at the seams and collapsing. And, then that gives space for the sourcing of something new, the creating of something brand new, which is a lot of us, that's what we're up to. And how many of you are up to that? You know, that's what you're for. Well, look at that, huh? Isn't that cool? That's exciting. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I think for a lot of people experiencing this kind of newness, there are some who don't know what it's for yet. Any of you experience not sure what it's for? Okay, Anima, anybody else? Can we use you as an example, Anima? Oh, great. Well, that's good. It's nice there's only one because it lets us be able to do this for you. So I'll show you how we do this. So I think in some way we have all said yes to greatness, greatness for the world, greatness for all life, greatness for the universe, greatness for humanity and, all the animals and the oceans and nature and the earth and all of it. So, but it is tricky. And one of the things before we look at you, Anima, is that it isn't a singular thing. Purpose any longer isn't like, oh yeah, I have one and I'll have that till I die. It's more like it's morphing along with us. So you have it, you do stuff that's yours to do, and then suddenly you don't have it anymore, and then you find another one, and then you do that, and then you have another one, and or you have multiple ones all at the same time. It's really interesting. So it's not like, oh, there, that's who I am, that's what I'm. It's really morphed in the last decades, I would say, which is exciting. So, okay, how do we do this for those who haven't been with us before? So when we look at Anamaya, you don't look straight on at the person. You look and an expanded look at the beingness of her or the newness of her, right? So you kind of like, it's like a step back and a witnessing of magnificence, genius, awesomeness. Sound good? Am I? Okay. And then you ask, what's she here for? And see what you get. And what you want to get is not anything to do with, usually nothing to do with the past or even the present. It's more like, what's the bigness of her? What's the greatness of her? What does she bring that she's going to help remake the earth with? Something like that. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so I'm just aiming you in the right direction for this. So, okay, so here we go. We'll just take like maybe 30, 60 seconds and we'll see what we get and then we'll have people share. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, that was fascinating. Wow. Beautiful. Um, I'll go first. So my impression at first was there was this great big like ball of light, but you were holding on to it like this. And it was like, that's great. What is that? Or what's beyond that? Or what's like if you let go of the ball of light, what would happen? And then I heard that you're about the embodiment of source. Is that true? Because I don't know quite what you do in life, but is any of that ring for you?
I work with graphic design. I work a lot about visual impressions of light, and
Mm.
I work with mindfulness and yoga, and um,
It's
yeah,
it's like
nature also horses and animals, nature. I connect to nature every
yeah.
day.
It's like Lynn has this as well, so be interested to hear what Lynn got for you. But there are some people, I think Kelly does too, who have an original source connection in and of them. Like they've sort of always known it and then been in a kind of quest for an expression of it. And it's like there's something about it, like it's to embody source, not just in yourself because it's already there, but in the world, in life, in humanity, and others. Like Lynn, could you want to say what you got? And Kelly's smiling too, so I'll have her say it too.
I just, I, I was sort of, I went beyond where you are now, and I was just seeing this, just light that was illuminating everything. So it feels like that's connected to what you're saying. It's like
Yeah,
that you're here just to light up the space in whatever way, and that sounds like it's what you're already doing.
yeah. Well, I think there's a step beyond what she's already doing as well that brings this sourceness into it. Kelly, go for it, because I can tell you're smiling away.
Well, I got light too, but first I got it in like a thin sliver of light that expanded vertically, like a vertical, and almost like a spotlight, but with much more intensity and substance than a spotlight. And when I asked what that light was for, it was definitely very clear impression of to bring some sort of truth to bear here, like you're a truth teller
Mm,
and you're something about bringing truth to this place.
yeah.
The truth of things, yeah.
It's interesting because when I met you, Soleira, in 2007 in Copenhagen, it's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
We did a session on me, and you were just like we couldn't find anything. I was just there. I was just a presence,
Ah,
And I remember that because I was always saying, oh, I've been always, now I do this, and my purpose has always been shifting all the time. But truth, light, God, presence has always been with me. So it's
yeah,
interesting.
that's interesting. So she uses the term God where I use the term source, but you can use any term you want, creator, universe, replace it with. But it went there. How many of you know you kind of came in with a connection and knowing of God, source, creator, universe? Oh my
No,
God, that's amazing. I did not come in with that. I've kind of grown into it with the help of many others. So that's amazing. When you see to come in with that, that's incredible. Adriana, were you going to say something?
yeah, well, I just saw like she was holding a big circle of energy. It was not necessarily white. It had some green on it, and the term was consciousness. But to me, God consciousness, the quantum field, whatever you call it, it's all the same, right? So it's
Yeah.
about bringing consciousness, a specific consciousness to the earth.
Yeah. Yeah, Colin. You're on mute, Colin.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find my mouse. Um, yeah, I kind of saw something similar, but what I first got was lots of it seemed like angelic beings, and then I saw I thought were children, but it could have just been people, but it felt like children, and I could see that you were going to each one, and these weren't angels in the sense that we understand them. They were the higher essence of these individuals, and you were just facilitating their connection, just
Mm.
just bringing. Oh, there we are, and they were just lighting up with that, and I was seeing their essences being embodied. So I was, that was like, wow, that's super. So somewhere along the line, that feels like what you do,
Yeah. Bobby, you were
consciously or
going to
not.
say something and then Penny.
Yeah, just to follow on with Colin, um, the image that came for me was floods of light, like in a beautiful forest glade, and it was a park-like setting, and also the sense of the bright, beautiful delight of children, whether inner children or outer, um, and this sense of your energizing and uplifting that entire space.
Mm, beautiful. Yeah, Penny?
Yes, extraordinary how we can all feel you as you are, because very similar. I felt this huge burst of light. But what was rather extraordinary was to begin with, it was as though you had this huge mouth and you were trying to say it. But then the newness, it felt that the newness was just that the light was growing and growing and you were emanating it and you didn't need to speak, you didn't need to say it. Just with your energy, you were touching everything and just all the beautiful nature and all the animals, everything. It felt as though it was just going out there without you needing to have this big voice about it.
That is so interesting, Penny, because before Christmas I did a session where I went back to former life, and I used to be. What came up was this sannyasin, this holy man in India who was mute. So he was living from transmitting energy without words. And one of the things he was trying to tell me in this life was that I had to use some words, but also be mute, this combination of words, but also just presence. And sparkled my interest for reconnecting today with Soleira also what was this teaching she said about being in the company of greatness, because it's like just being there is enough. So thank you, Penny. Sorry.
You're on mute, Soleira.
Sorry. How does all that feel, Maya? Like when we give you that, how do you, yeah. It's quite amazing, isn't it? And I wonder if the rest, because I felt this over the holiday season and into January, like I kind of know why I'm here and I've been up to lots of things, but I felt like it was getting all rejigged somehow, or it needed to come out differently or bolder or more, and I didn't know how at first, and it's kind of fallen into place over the last month. Anybody else felt that way through that? Oh, isn't that interesting? We're all kind of going through similar movement at the same time. It's fascinating. And are you finding your way through it now where you get a sense of, oh, that's how I'll express that this year? Is anybody experiencing that you're getting it coming through? Yeah, some. Yeah, yeah.
Just starting to feel it, really, how it's going to come out. Yeah.
Because one of the things that I think happens with this newness, like you can see it here, and as we're talking, it's not just personal. It's not, oh, you're going through something. It's a collective movement that there are many of us, and we may not all go through it in the same days at the same time, but it's a sway of collective movement. And of course, the solar flares and the earth stuff and the wonderful intelligence, the oceans and nature and the stars and whatever is happening there, they are influencing the vibrational shift of us. But I think we're becoming, my latest term this week has been evolutionary geniuses. And to be an evolutionary genius, you kind of have to, you hold that you know something that you really don't know. I know that sounds weird, doesn't it? But you kind of have to, it's not like you figured it all out and you know exactly what to do, but you're called. And if you let yourself be called to this, whatever it is, then you will know what to do. In that, I call it spontaneous mastery. It's not something you've learned to do, because if you try and apply something you've learned to do, then you bring something from the past that may or may not fit. But if you stand in the moment, in the power of I don't know and I'm going to know, then this spontaneous mastery bursts through you. I see Gunny's nodding her head, and there's a bunch of us. We've experienced that when we work in the murmuration of Maestro. So how many of you experience spontaneous mastery? Yeah, pretty much everybody. Yeah. Isn't that interesting as well, that it's this collective morphing of us? So anybody want to ask any particular questions so far? Because I'm going to take us next into doing the big work together and what that looks like. Yeah, Bobby.
I'd like to just add the spontaneous mastery, the way I think about it and hold it is that I don't know, and source, the one I call infinite mother, universe, whatever is your name for it, does know, and I'm simply plugging in and allowing that to come through me with, my little twists and essences and flavors
Yeah.
incorporated. I don't have to know, but I'm allowing the knowing to come
Yes.
through.
Yeah. If it's not like a channeling, is it? No. It's different. Like I used to channel some 25, 30 years ago. And I would have to get out of the way and let some otherness kind of speak through me. And this is very different because we've activated some kind of sourceful alchemical core, that we have the source here and we have the source here, or the universe or the mother, or call it whatever you'd like. And it's like this fusion of you and that, whatever your source is. So it doesn't occur like channeling, it almost occurs like that is who you are, and yet you're you, but you're both at the same time. Yes? You see that? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. A conscious co-creative partnership dance. Yes, that's a good way to put it, Bobby. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anybody else? Any questions? Yeah, Adriana.
I do feel like the new Earth is really close, or it's already here, or everything we say always.
Yeah.
But I also feel the new abilities like telepathy, and like I've been exercising telepathy lately, and maybe others will come that we don't know of yet, you know? That's how I feel this one is the biggest newness that I'm experiencing, and it's fun. Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah. Like we're developing a kind of superpowers that just kind of
Mm-hmm.
spontaneously show up. Like, it's quite interesting. What is also interesting in this is I don't find there's any ego attached to it. It's not about being humble either. It's some new kind of love in all life, respecting all life, caring for all life, just this being there for the universe. For me, it's the universe and creation. For others, it might be, whatever is yours. Yeah, pure consciousness. Yeah, that's a nice way to put it too. Yeah. So it's a different state of being, and I think it's important to be aware of the newness of you and us at the same time, and to find what is yours to do and then be able to do that, especially with others, even if that's in consciousness and or with nature or other life forms or other beings as well. It's whatever works for you. So let's play with it. Let's do the greater work together. And I'll show you what we do in the Murmuration of Maestros calls, how we create new creations and new possibilities. So would you stick up your hand if you're part of the Murmuration of Maestros group so they know who you are? Okay, so there's some of you can see who's on that group. So we've been working for a long time together. And what we do is I never direct what we're doing, because if I direct it, I'm sticking my intentions and agenda in the way of what might be wanting to happen through us all. So I just say, go. And then and then we see what wants to happen through each of us, both individually and collectively. Then we share what we get, and often there's such synergy in what we get, just like when we were looking at Anamaya's purpose, and you could see the synergy in it all, right? And then you start to go, oh, it's pointing us to this. And then you do it again, and then something emerges from that, like you created a breakthrough or a new possibility for life. So shall we just play and see what happens? Sound good? Okay, so I will just say this. You want to just close your eyes and let yourself like expand and then just ask what wants to happen through us now. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, that was wonderful. Could you feel the kind of solid power thrum of it? Kind of like as we collected, it just had a kind of like a really ah there kind of to it. And I thought I really felt our newness. And I thought, um, I don't even refer to people as people anymore. I refer to them as beings, and I'm not even sure it's beings. I think it's more like sources. Like we're evolving who we are and how we occur, and it's nice to have different language to frame it for ourselves so we can kind of live in the newness of it. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, and then we kind of all, not just us on the call, but all of those around the world, all the newnessers around the world kind of came together and had the world, had the earth, had life
Mm.
on the earth. And we're pouring grace into it so that this movement, this turning could happen with a kind of beautiful grace instead of all jingly jangly kind of
Mm.
thing. So that's what I got. So who else? What you got? Yeah, Adriana, and then Kelly, and then Bobby.
I got that I was hugging the earth like this with a beautiful emerald energy. It's just doing like this. That's it.
Wonderful. Yeah. Kelly?
Yeah.
I got very similar to you, that what wants to happen now is for all of us to be with each other and to connect, and that the more of us that do that, it's like exponentially changing things here. Like, just even, a moment is way more than what we're, just doing here. And it's this exponential opening by more and more of the newers coming together. That's what
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Yeah. Bobby?
So I do eyes closed writing when I go into these spaces sometimes. You are creating conscious, cosmic community. Bring my words and presence to this. My love is pure consciousness. Breathe it out.
Mm, nice. Yeah. Yeah, Penny.
I got this huge oneness energy. So it was all of consciousness, but then that just exploded into newness.
Yeah.
So quite similar to other people, really.
You see the synergy of it. So we're just going to see what's wanting to happen. And then there's this, we might experience it slightly nuanced, but the uniqueness of us in this newness and in as we're becoming whatever it is, we're sources, whatever, that you retain the uniqueness, but you also have this vastness in you. It's like we're even redesigning how it is to be a being in a way, which is fascinating, and how it is to live life on a planet, loving life and being here for purpose and living in new ways. It's kind of exciting, actually. So, anybody else want to share what you got while we were doing? And I think you had your hand up. Yeah.
I was like flowing in this great, like liquid ocean, but not the ocean, but like this turquoise liquid ocean. And it was just the ocean of consciousness. And it's just like this feeling that we're in at this turn point, this reset of consciousness
Yeah.
into to love. So it's much what you said. It's just we have to. It's just a way.
Yeah. One of the things that in the Mimrish and Maestros group we've seen over the last, I don't know how many years, but at least the last 3 years, I would say, is this transformation of consciousness from something out there containing a sense of wisdom to something present, alive, sentient, intelligent, sparkling, effervescent in the cells, in the earth, in the air we breathe, in life, in all facets of life. So it's a much more, it's less of a, oh, there, and more of a, like, here, present, alive, as part of us, as who we are. Have you all experienced that over the last little while? Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, anybody
Um,
else?
uh, lately, I've been feeling it even more inside the body,
Mm.
but it's more like the last month weird.
Yeah, a lot of people will experience this. Like me, I tend to experience it like this, and a lot of people experience it like this, I would
Here,
say.
yeah.
So, Lynn, you're one of those who your experience is inner, isn't it? Like a vast inner. You're on mute, by the way.
I think it's both. It's both an inner, but it's also very much a field coming out now,
Yeah.
an experience of being a field more consciously.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Colin.
Also
Found it.
unmuted.
Um, yeah, it's fascinating. What I was getting was because I sort of like you've been saying it was here, and I was looking out from here, and then I was feeling it, each one of us in this sort of array of conscious creators, if you like. I don't know what to call what is the plural of that, and um, and then I could feel us just doing what we do, just connecting with each other. It might be one at a time, it might be all of us together, but in this case, all of us together, and then recognizing each one's beauty and talent
Yeah.
and magnificence,
Yeah.
and then it just I just lit up with the joy of being in this place together,
Yeah.
and it was absolute delight. So very precious. So thank you
Yeah.
for all being here.
It is one of the things about this newness is there's so much joy in it. Whereas I think previously there was a lot of, well, for me anyways, a lot of serious and significant. And I don't feel it's as serious and significant. I mean, it is significant, but the catalyzer for it is joy with all capital Joy kind of thing. It's like it's its own superpower in a way that's quite extraordinary. So yeah, and when Lynn said it's both, for me it's like I say this for myself. So I've turned from originally being someone who had no idea there was even energy in the world. I had no clue. I was just, doing life. And then to someone who can operate as a vast, expansive field that is both transformative, transcendent, alchemical, and able to do quite extraordinary things that just amaze me, actually. So any of you feeling like that expansive sense of ability that's quite different from before? Yeah. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Fascinating. Yeah. Okay, so we did that once. Let's do it a second time because always we see if as maestros when we do it, it morphs as you do it a second time and suddenly comes even clearer what's trying to happen. Okay, so let's do it again. Here we go. Okay. That was different this time. We were kind of standing in when it's not a circle, it's more like a sphere. But it was, and this light came into it. In that, at first I was like, what is this light? And then years ago, when Centauri and I first met, this was around 1996, we saw the spirit of the earth leave the earth, kind of tired, needing to go somewhere. And like the rest of us, as we're going through newness, I think the earth has been going through an ever-evolving newness. But this was like, oh, there's this beautiful earth being, like kind of returned or rejuvenated or new, or I don't know what it was, but it was so. And then once it went into the earth, it didn't just go into the earth like a sphere, it connected us all with this light, which we were working on in the Maestros group the last 2 weeks. This, you know how trees are connected by a mycelial network? It's like all of life is now connected by some sort of a mycelial light communion. I don't know what words do you put to it, but it was like we were connected in a way that was so beautiful. And Anna, I wouldn't doubt it has something to do with the work you do with light. So thank you for that, and probably others too, but especially because you were talking about that. It had that lightness of feel to it. And it also reminded me of Bobby's work with the Infinite Mother. At the same time, there was like, there was a sense of lightness, like newness and lightness and frolicking kind of sense. You know what I mean? That was my take on it. So, who else? What did you get while we were doing that? Yeah, Bobby and then Adriana.
So following the lightness, play in the field of pure love and expand from there. And then I was just bathing in it. It was immense.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. Adriana?
It was interesting. All our newness was affecting other beings and other dimensions and realities, and
Yeah,
their newness was affecting us again. And it was like everything was becoming new and really nice.
yeah,
Yeah, all dimensions, realities,
yeah.
the whole earth, us. Yeah.
That's a good point to make because I don't think we're any longer as in this newness operating as isolated individuals who don't impact the whole. We're operating as expansive, interwoven with all of life and the earth and the universe and source and whatever. And as we go, like as transcendent transformationalists, you could say, so goes a lot of life. And it's like we can impact huge swathes of the world when we're operating like that. But it's not a power over, it's a beautiful life power. I call it life source power, I would say. It's like it elevates people. It doesn't have an agenda or an intention behind it. Oh, this is what we want them to turn out. No, it's like, it's kind of like ka-ching. There, be your magical, unique, wondrous self now kind of thing. It's more like that, I would say, is how I experience it. So yeah. Who else? So what'd you get as we were doing that? Yeah, Gunny. And then Penny.
It's, well, feeling the similarity with what you've been talking about. This time it was like repeated that we are all sources. Creator mother came. You are sources creating unity. So even if we never met again, we are like at point connecting to remember that it is all in alignment and everything is coming to us in the right way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, beautiful.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing. It's so you get so profoundly touched by doing this. Yeah. So Penny, you were going to say?
Yeah, I got this. It was rather extraordinary. So it was the world, um, but it was almost like the lightness of a balloon. And then there were all these childlike beings that just were gently touching it as it moved and rolled, and that was just evolving everything.
Yeah.
Joy, joy, joy.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Yeah. Anybody else want to share what you got? No? Okay. Yeah, Lynn, go for it.
I was getting this openness towards space. I mean, that there was no limits to the openness between us or where we are
Yeah.
and what we're connecting to. It's like it was just this vastness that somehow that's where we all are
Yeah.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, before we go.
Just before you go away,
Yeah,
I
go
raised
ahead,
my
Santa.
hand
Oh, I keep
sometimes.
missing you.
Yeah,
I
you
do it
must be
all
on
the
some
time.
part of the screen over there. Hello.
Go for it, Centauri.
Well, I drift in and out of, you might say, consciousness. And I find the places where I get the clarity is a space which isn't a space, and it's a place which isn't a place, and it has no dimensionality. And what I've said before on many calls is once you drop all the concepts and all the constructs by which you live your life, then you have a great deal of opportunity to see that there's a different way, a different perspective of not just viewing who you are and what you're doing, etc., but of the almost like this movement of creation, which sometimes, as you said, you may have instances of having a knowing of what to do and what all things are moving towards. But, your consciousness goes so far sometimes. And I think in these moments of being in that space, which I said isn't a geographical location at all, because you cannot define it as such, but it's like something just goes click, and there are suddenly all these understandings and awarenesses, and something which allows you to go beyond this perception of persona, of self, of identity, and then you're catapulted into an entire different experience of how you can language what it is that you are purposefully situated to do and achieve. And I think it all has, it is all a part of something which is ever expanding in its newness and in its intentionality to birth new forms of focus for us to work with. And if I can say anything, to anybody at all on this call, is that you don't know who you are, and that's a damn good thing. Because you can continually invent something which is beyond your imagining, something which is beyond what you've been told and read about or dreamt of. It sort of gives you a feeling that the pure beauty and purpose of being able to speak is something that is a magical thing in itself. And you don't know sometimes about the transcendent beauty of this magic because you don't give enough time to understand it, to contemplate it, to consider it. Like we're here talking together, through all this connectivity of technology, yet there's an instantaneity of understanding which almost like, as has been said before, doesn't need the words to language it. But nevertheless, the feeling is there that you're excited by something which you don't even quite understand the entirety of its concept. But it is like something shows itself to you and allows you to understand that you're not an individual in the world. You are part of a tremendous force, a creation that in this time period is starting to make itself known and to be revealed. And so for me, that would be the revelation that's been talked about.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, beautiful. Ooh, yeah, that and I wrote collective beingness, I think. Yes, that so you're unique, but you're so interwoven with the collective. And it's the uniqueness and the diversity of us in our uniquenesses that makes it so amazing at the same time, which I think is a fabulous design. So before we go, I want you to just for yourself revel in your newness. Like, love it, enjoy it, be thrilled by it, as opposed to, I hope this has helped to make it like, oh yeah, okay, this is a great thing that
Mm.
we're experiencing. So just take a minute and just experience that for yourself. Yeah, brilliant. And I would say allow yourself to explore and express your newness in whatever way it wants to get expressed. Like I said, it's an ever morphing, ever dynamically changing thing, which is great too. But let your spontaneous mastery, your unique genius, your relationship with whether it's source, universe, God, creator, infinite mother, whatever it is, let let that be with you and of you, and and feel our connectedness and know we're a part of a great big thing that's happening on the world. So it's been wonderful having you all here with us. I love it, love it, love it. If anybody wants to do any more with this, I am starting a webinar series on the 16th of February called The Newness of Us. It's on my website, soleragreen.com/webinar.html if you're interested, or message me if you're interested as well. But this has been spectacular. I think it's been wonderful to kind of reunite with so many people. It is sort of like we know each other. A tapestry, yeah, Bobby, that's a great way to say it. A magical tapestry of conscious cosmic community. Yes, that's a brilliant way to put it. I love it. So go forth and express your wondrous newness in the world, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Mwah.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Bye.